Have I got a great video for you guys today. Not only am I going to edit your photos, but I'm also going to edit some of my old stuff from 10, 11 years ago. I'm going to show you what it looked like back then, and then we're going to re-edit it and we're going to compare it. So stay tuned all the way to the end. So my name is Kobus Tollig. I'm a wedding photographer from Cape Town, South Africa. If it's your first time on my channel, it's great to have you, and I look forward to seeing you a lot in the future. Let's start off with this video. So I'm going to start off, guys, by saying that I didn't really look at these images. I threw them into Lightroom, and the only image that I did have a quick look at was my old images. So we're going to start off by editing this photo. It was a photo taken by Vernon de Kooker. Thank you, Vernon, for sending it in. It's a lovely photo, and I love the bride's posture in this photo. I'm going to start off by cropping it a bit because of what's happening back here in the corner. It looks like a portrait on the wall or something. I want that out, but also I want the bride's eyes to be in the center of the image because of the composition. Now I'm going to start off with the preset I always start off, and that's the KT preset. It's one of my own presets. It's for sale down in the description. If I go there, do a bit of shadow lifting, exposure, we'll do some white balance just now, but I just want to bring down the orange in the skin tones. There we go. I think there's a bit of magenta. I'm going to bring it down just a bit. There we go. And now I'm going to warm it up. And there's some blues in the image, so I'm just going to take the slider and remove some blues. There we go. Just going to do some skin retouching. Over there, from there. That's lovely. Then something else I would do, guys, is to remove things that distracts the eyes, like this mark on the couch that distracts my eye. I will also remove this mark here, which is a normal mark for a brick or something like that, but it is distracting to my eye. There we go. Just want to move it perfectly. And there you have it. This lovely image was sent in by Vision of Photography. Thank you guys for sending it in. It's a lovely image of this couple. And I'm just going to crop it off like that to get the couple nicely in the center. And I think my KT art preset is going to do quite a bit of magic. I'm going to lower the highlights and the whites a bit, open up the shadows slightly. I like the grainy, moody feel of this, add some contrast, and I think that's about it. We can maybe make a virtual copy of this, create a virtual copy, and edit it one more time with a different version. And I'm going to try my chocolate sunset. I love my chocolate sunset preset. It will be available soon. Have a look at that. Maybe tell me down in the comments, which one do you like more, the chocolate preset or the art preset for this specific photo. Just want to add some magenta, maybe get rid of some of the oranges. There we go. So that is the chocolate sunset, and that is my KT art sunset. If I zoom in, you'll see there's quite a bit of grain. It's added. If you don't want any grain, I've got a little preset that says KT no grain, and it takes away the grain, but I quite like the grain. This fun image was sent in by Sean Taylor. Thank you, Sean, for sending it in. I'm going to start off by applying my KT1 preset to it. I'm also going to crop it off from the right a bit, lift it a bit because of the building edge there, and I'm also going to apply a transform, which is I'm just going to use auto, and that's to straighten out the buildings by doing that. Boom. And then I'm going to again crop a bit off the right, and now we can work with the image, upping the exposure, lifting up the shadows a bit. That looks quite nice. I just want to see if I reduce the orange a bit, and maybe even the yellows. That's it. Love it. I think I'm even going to crop a bit more. I like it when the lady's hand is from the edge of the screen equally to, say, the elbow of the guy here. Just balances nicely with regards to the composition. This lovely sunset photo was taken by Nodia Photography. Thank you guys for sending it in. And I think I'm going to start off by applying my KT Sunset 6. Makes it quite magenta, so we're going to reduce the magenta a bit. There we go. And I'm going to up the shadows, maybe up the exposure a bit, because I don't want to lose too much detail in her dress. I think she's wearing a dress. No, she's wearing pants with a nice jersey. And we're gonna add a bit of warmth. Maybe add back some magenta. There we go. Lose a bit of the oranges. Bit of the yellows. And let's see if we can add a bit of vignetting, if we should or shouldn't. No, vignetting is too much. We can maybe add a camera profile that just opens it up, lens corrections, and vignetting on the side. There we go. Before, after, before, after. The next image is a lovely lady, and the photograph was taken by Bianca Berens. Excuse my pronunciation, I hope I've got it right, but Bianca Berens, thank you for this lovely image. So with this image, I'm gonna have to play around a bit. Let's see, Katie Art, not quite there. Katie Art green, clouds, not gonna work. That might work. Let's see, daylight. Daylight can also work. Orange and teals, nah. Chocolate. Katie Sunset chocolate. Let's have a look. Gonna go up. I quite like that. I think that is it. Go in a bit. Remove that hair there. Oops. Lightroom also jumps. Do that there. There we go. There's a little speck under her eye. Maybe some mascara. There we go. We can reduce some noise. I've got a noise reduction down here, less noise, boom. And then if you want to, and this bothers you, that hair you most likely will have to remove in Photoshop. The last thing I do want to remove is the bit of blue here on the dress. There we go. And if you want to remove more blue, guys, you can always go to the blue channel. So I'll go color, you click on the blue, reduce the blue, and then make the luminance go up. You see what it does? So you can either go that way or that way, and it makes it pure white. Be careful of overdoing it, because then it just looks weird. But I think that image looks nice. Maybe should we reduce some of the orange skin tones? There we go. Quite like that. Nice image. This next fun image was taken by Zell Photography. She's an aspiring photographer growing rapidly. The image is slightly out of focus, but still a fun shot. And I think I'm gonna start off by using my chocolate sunset preset. We're gonna up it a bit. We're definitely gonna add some magenta, add a bit of warmth there, some contrast. Then I'm just gonna straighten it out a bit. There we go. And I think I'm gonna add some light here on the guy's face. One needs to be very careful of it. Just like that. Awesome. Add some shadows. Add a bit of clarity. There we go. We can add a bit of saturation, a bit more saturation there, and also on her face, so that she pops a bit more, add some texture. This is something I would do if I've got a photo that's slightly out of focus, is add a bit of texture and sharpness, and it will help to sharpen the image a bit. The next three images was also taken by Bianca Berens, and I'm gonna start off by using my chocolate sunset preset. Let's see, adding that, opening up the shadows a bit more, adding a bit of magenta and some warmth, and then popping in the contrast. There we go. Let's crop it off a bit more on that side. We can even put in a radial filter there, blow it up back, add some warmth, bring some exposure, bring down the dehaze, just like that. Look at that. Go before, after, and then from there I'm just gonna go synchronize all except for obviously local adjustment, spot and crop. Synchronize, and let's see what the other two turns out. So that's a bit dark, so I'll just up the exposure a bit all the way to there. What a lovely image. And then from there we go to the next one. Oh, look at that, what a moment, so beautiful. Just gonna crop it off on that side a bit. Gonna zoom in, clean that up. There we go, and that little flare there. Lovely image. I love this image. This image is portfolio stuff. Next photo was by Devonte Photography, also aspiring photographer, growing really fast. I think I'm gonna start off by the KT1 preset. We're gonna up the exposure, drop it there. We're gonna bring back the oranges a bit. There we go. Photo unfortunately missed a bit of focus here, but such a beautiful couple. And I'm just gonna do that radial filter to sharpen the image. I'm also gonna use the spot removal tool and just do a bit of skin retouching. And we have the before and after, before and after. We have so many fun images today. This one by Blissfully Yours. Thank you for sending it in. What a lovely image. Love the waves in the background. I'm gonna go off with chocolate preset. Let's have a look. I love it. I think it also ties in nicely with the mustard yellow dress, which is quite cool. And I'm just gonna drop the oranges a bit. I'm gonna straighten it ever so slightly. There we go. And then I'm gonna use a radial filter over there just to lift up her face in the shadowy areas. Look at that. Now that's what I call pop. And maybe now I can actually drop the exposure a bit. There we go. And let's see what clarity does to it. There we go. Just a bit of clarity. And I think that is it. Before and after. Before and after. Next photo by Melanie Duval. Really sweet image. Quite like it. I'm going to go with KT1. We're going to go definitely a bit of warmth. Drop the magenta a bit. Open up the shadows ever so slightly. That's too much. Bring it down there. I'm going to crop a bit off. Even if I cut the flowers off, I'm going to just cut off there. But I'm going to do a bit of retouching. I hate it when Lightroom jumps like that, don't you? There we go. Gonna move that little hair there. There we go. Awesome. Let's have a look. I quite like that. Before and after. Before and after. Loads of fun photos coming in today. This one by Jana Landman. Thank you very much, Jana, for sending it in. I'm going to start off by cropping it a bit. I'm going to crop off that roof on the left hand side and come in on this side as well. Then I'm going to take KT1, up the exposure, up the shadows, drop quite a bit of magenta, warm it up quite a bit, and then sharpen the faces a bit and add some texture. There we have it. Before and after. I think one last thing what I'll do is this little building here is distracting me. It's taking quite a bit of my eye, so I'm just gonna use the cloning tool and remove it. Before we continue, guys, I've got a big favor to ask you. Please click on the like button if you're enjoying the video. Also, down in the comment box, leave me a comment telling me whether or not you would like more videos like this in the future, where I edit your photos and also edit my old stuff, and we can see what we can make together. Also, remember to click on the subscribe button and that notification button so you can be notified of all new videos coming. This image is by me. It was in 2010, the 17th of July. You can see it here in the top left-hand side corner. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. It was freezing. It wasn't a wedding. It was actually for my portfolio. This was the very first wedding shoot I did in terms of portfolio. I asked my cousin and his wife to get dressed. I borrowed a wedding dress and she put it on for me, and we took these photos. This is the actual edit that I used for my very first portfolio, but let's see what I can do better now a couple of years later. So we can quickly have a look. The photo was taken with a 5G Mark II with a 24-105 f4 ISO 400 640 shutter speed at f8 for some reason. If I now edit it, let's use KT1. I'm going to open up the shadows quite a bit, and we're obviously going to drop the warmth there. I must say it was quite a warm sunrise, and that's why it's heavily orange. What I can tell you guys from playing around with some of my old images, that is I can really feel a difference in the camera equipment, and I think I'm gonna make a video about it. Maybe leave a comment down below and tell me if I should make a video about it. But there's definitely a difference in color and what you can actually do with regards to dynamic range and so forth. But I think that's where, if I now edit fast, I can leave it. Let's just remove that, and that, even that there. Go there, and then that little spot there. Let's zoom out, and that is 2010, and that is now. Same shoot, another one. This is how I edited it back then. This is the raw. Let's go KT1 again. Let's see what the chocolate, no, chocolate's not gonna work. I'm gonna go KT1. I'm definitely upping the exposure quite a bit, opening up the shadows. Now, in today's shoots, I will not shoot with a shadow on his face like that. You need to make sure that you angle the person in such a way that it doesn't cast nasty shadows like that on his face. I can see that I used a reflector here to up her face, but I never took in account his face. But I think a simple edit today would be something like this. Might crop off the left a bit, and 2010 edit, and now 2010, and now. This image was taken after that portfolio shoot of mine, and it was actually my brother's wedding. It was one of my first ever weddings. I was nervous, helped that it was my brother, but I obviously wanted to create amazing images for him. This is the image I sent them on this scene, taken with a 5D Mark II and a 24-105 f4 lens. This is the raw. I'm gonna add KT to it. We're definitely gonna come down on that oranges, bring down the magenta a bit. There we go. There we go. Also a bit of red I'm just gonna bring down. Then I'm gonna crop it quite a bit. Don't want the vehicle in it. There we go. Up the exposure a bit, add a bit of contrast, open up those shadows a bit. Now I can actually down the exposure again. Gonna throw a radial filter over there. Let's see if what that dehazing does. No, clarity maybe. There we go, that's better. And I'm gonna remove that little mark on his face. And over there as well. That is then, this is now. Still my brother's wedding. This is a photo I gave them then. This is the raw, quite underexposed. We're gonna try and save it. KT1 preset, gonna lift up the exposure a lot. We'll bring it down later. It's just so I can see what I'm working with. Definitely gonna crop it like that. Then I'm gonna use the transform tool and use auto. Now I'm gonna bring back the exposure. We're gonna open up the shadows quite a bit, and I want to warm it up. There we go. Bring down the oranges a bit, bring down the magenta. Use a radial filter for this wall that is flashed up because I was using an external flash or off-camera flash here, and I'm just gonna bring down that exposure, make it a bit warmer because it's flash and the flash is cool, and I'm warming it up a bit. And then here at the bottom we can do sort of the same and use a bit of a radial filter on them. Just bring up that exposure a bit on them, shadows up a bit, not too much though. There we go. So that is now, and that is then. This image was taken in 2012. Favorite couple of mine. I loved spending time with them, and at that point I was like over the moon because they were this ideal couple I wanted. And this is the image I gave them. This is the edited version. The only thing that I really actually don't like is the oversaturation of the greens, but I feel that it was quite a decent edit. But let's have a look at the raw. I think I'm gonna try daylight, my new daylight preset. We're gonna open up the exposure quite a bit and then bring quite a bit of warmth in, quite like that. Let go of some of the oranges. There we go, maybe some magenta. Let's have a look. Yep. Then I'm gonna add a bit of a netting, maybe that much. I'm gonna crop off the left and the bottom, quite like that. Let's have a look if we can bring back those mountains. Brush it. There we go, sky as well. There we go. Now we're gonna bring it back by dehazing and dropping the exposure a bit, maybe some contrast, some warmth. I don't think more than that. And that is how I would edit it today. I might want to remove that little leaf. I thought it's a piece of plastic, but it's a leaf. Gonna remove that. I saw some rocks on this side. Maybe clean up the rocks a bit. There we go. Yeah, I quite like that. That's 2012 edit. That's 2021 edit. 2012, 2021. I must also say, guys, that Lightroom has improved dramatically. When editing some of my old images, I could see what the sliders looked like back then, and the technology grew so much. Same couple, 2012. This is the edit I gave them on this image. You can see quite a bit of a netting here. Also, when I looked at the metadata, I could see that I was very inexperienced. 25th of a second shutter speed, ISO 1000 f4, 17mm, 17 to 40mm f4 lens. So because I shot this at 17mm, 25th of a second is not too bad. However, I remember the Mark II, I was not willing to send it over 1000 ISO. I was just too scared of it having too much noise. Let's have a look at the edit now. So for this one, I would do my daylight. I would go up on my exposure quite a bit less magenta, add quite a bit of warmth, maybe a bit of contrast. Let's add some vignetting, not as much as in 2012, but just some. There we go. And I might even remove this car badge here in the back. Now, if I can't do it here, I'll typically go over to Photoshop, but that hardly ever happens. Let me just line the horizon there. There we go. Perfect. So that's the before and after, and then we have 2012. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. It was great to have you here, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.